right, here we are. It's time to get started. Town hall meeting number 165. It's September 23rd, 2025. And today we are being joined by Cosmo, Ashley, Guillermo, Jeffrey, Malik, Omolala, Devo, and Colleen.
Hello.
Thanks all for being here. As you can see on screen, a quick outline of the agenda. We start off with exactly one mention, and then figured it would be good to give a little update on BGI 25 and our attendance there. And after that, we have the governance dashboard and the consent process, which is underway right now. And if there's any room after that, there's space for open topics. And a quick intro on what the ambassador program even is and what we're doing. Basically, we're a group of like-minded people that are all quite in tune with the mission and vision of Singularity Net and its work towards building for beneficial artificial general intelligence. And we do this by a lot. We have a wide selection of work groups, 21 to be precise. And these are all self-organizing. And yeah, pretty much that means that if you're interested in helping out, we do have a work group that fits your skills and interests. And if you want to join in, you can check out our Discord server. And that has a how to join section, which will explain you how to join. All right. Yeah, then on mentions, as I said, just one mention really for today, and that's that ASI Cloud early access went live. We had Oliver join in 2 weeks ago, I believe. Um, yeah, I think 2 weeks ago. Um, I did check all my email folders. I can't remember which email I used for signing up. So, yeah, I think I missed out on this round of early access for myself, but I did see online Leandra, for example, already playing around with it. So those that did sign up, you now have early access, and that comes with a bunch of compute credits, and also, um, yeah, there's this campaign going on where the more active you are, the more bonus compute credits you can earn for yourself. Uh, Anybody in the room had a little play around already, by any chance? It was just live earlier this afternoon, so okay, not yet.
Just a little. I played around with it, only out of necessity because I went to my ASI1 account and all of my data disappeared. I said, okay, I guess it's time I really do development now. So yeah, I'm actually going to develop a actual development of an ASI agent. So I'm excited.
Awesome. And yeah, there were more people popping up on Telegram, for example, saying like, I had stuff on ASI1. Where did it go? Right now, I didn't really find any proper explanation other than it's beta. And yeah, the moment anything pops up to retrieve earlier data, I'll make sure to share. But if I'm being honest, I'm not too sure on the chances of that. Yeah, it's proper annoying.
From what ASI relayed to me, it's all of that data is just in the ethos now. I don't know.
That might very well be the case. Yeah. Yep. All right. That covers the mention. And then, yeah, this is a little bit in between an actual agenda item and a mention. It's relatively straightforward, but we had during governance work group earlier this afternoon, we discussed BGI 25 and our attendance there. And yeah, short version of the story would be the costs are going to be quite a bit higher for sending people over there than we estimated. And two people did step up to indicate interest. But we really need to puzzle a bit because, well, there's just a limited amount of budget. And yeah, the relative amount between, I think right now there's four work groups that are going to do virtual roundtable events. And it needs to be in balance. Like sending two people is significantly more expensive than having four work groups organize these virtual events. So right now where we're at is pretty much coming Friday, 13 UTC. There's the weekly call in preparation for BGI 25, and at that moment we'll make the final decision whether or not to actually send people there. And before that, like I put on the slide, asynchronous ideation on what exactly will we do there if we send people there, and yeah, just ideating on that, and then hopefully getting enough information to decide whether or not it's going to be worth spending a big chunk of the budget for BGI 25 on sending people there physically. So I just wanted to call that out. There's a dedicated ambassadors at BGI 25 Discord channel. Yeah, honestly, we need all the ideation we can get. So any channel is fine, really, wherever you want to post it. But would be good to have it all in one place. Am I skipping anything important on this topic? Quick check on the room before moving on. Okay, I think that covers none. Cool. That brings us to the next item, being the governance dashboard and the current budget consent process. Right now, the comment phase pretty much is finished. So I did see some comments happening, only on one report. So right in this very first pilot round, yeah, there wasn't too much usage of this commenting, and then potentially the work groups adjusting budgets. But the budgets are now locked in. And yeah, as you can see on the slide, the deadline for consenting or objecting is going to be tomorrow, end of day UTC. And I added a little line on double checking there because right before this call, when I well wanted to see what the current status was, if people were consenting or objecting, not a lot was showing. So um, yeah, I guess don't really want to put you on the spot like this, Guillermo, but did you manage to get any insights on what's up? If people are able to um, consent or object, or if there's some work first needing to be done, or
Hey, Pete. Well, hello, hola to all newcomers. Yeah, I did have noticed. So we, super admin, are not being able to do that. We need to, on V3, we're gonna have to start from the back end, creating a new role, and to have a better organized army kind of hierarchy. You know, we kind of gonna need it. And that superpower for the super admin is going to be something that will be delegated, probably following some privacy, ethic that we still need to discuss. And so as previously discussed in governance, there's a lot of we can cover, not only announcing that kickoff, for consent, probably Colin or some of the member, let me see who has a core contributor role, and he can check or double check if he's been allowed to consent or not. And Thibault, I can see on the user management that you have admin. If you can check on any other proposals, if the voting, sorry, Vani, consent, it's open for you. But hey, so that's not only we want to kind of discuss and have this open discussion. As we are entering a phase where data recollection is going to be very important. And also, I did try to force it, to be honest, this dialogue going on the comments. But yeah, it kind of didn't happen organically. So I do have to assume personally that all the quarterly reports and proposals are perfectly suited for the community, and the consent should go fast and easy in this first round, because that's what's the possibility to, with this process we put together, to have a dialogue before within our governance systems, to improve proposals, and also to this is really focused on collaboration and engagement, through dialogue, how we can get better, pointing out where we see a point of overlapping or a point of things to work together with other work groups and this and that. So sorry for this. I'm going to ask somebody to change my role. Okay.
Okay, just going by chat a little bit. Tefo can see the thumbs up and down. I was also able to see that, but I didn't see any. I only could see zeros. And yeah, thumbs up would be a consent, and thumbs down an objection.
Okay, yeah, so that will do it. So you don't see numbers, so nobody has engaged. But if you do have that, it's open, but you shouldn't because you're super admin. But going back to the other aspect, because let me go back because the commit, the final push was already committed. So this probably has to do with our roles assignment. But going back to the concept of the experiment we're trying to run through in this first iteration, it's not only validate, I think the UX is pretty well, let's say, intuitive. From 21 proposals, we just have one kind of small mistake. So yeah, my understanding, UX is it's good. Definitely a lot of improvements in rich text for our library. Probably we can get something better from what we have. We have been using templates and open source free old school libraries for this one till we nail it. And also, but I think we really understand the architecture we needed. We did last not this Saturday, last Saturday, sorry for that, before we launch it or get the final deployment up, we're going through a script for a video with Vani and Peter. Well, Vani was the one that really saw it. We understood that we probably will have to change the process, the calendar. So we did that. So we have been pivoting and adapting to where the tool is taking us. So rethinking, it was a challenge, but also it was a eureka moment that we have. And all of this also, it's kind of condensated everything into the challenge of running consents and getting to final consents in one round, something that we have never, well, I think we achieved once or not, but that's the whole idea of building the tool. And also the other aspects is that we end up having the discussion about the AI assist, not only the name, but also we went deep into the rabbit hole on how we run this first iteration on the experiment. We have an internal discussion because again, this is a cross work group guild collaboration. R&D has been only, kind of the one that sparked the discussion, and it really comes from the funding the, proposal. So it's a whole ecosystem here going on, and so also LATAM did also big push with our dev team also. Leandro, he's not here, but he was the one that came into the field, running 5 minutes through the clock and put the ball next to the net and make this one really count. So big shout out for the kid. It's freaking brilliant. So yeah, governance discussion, governance work group, not only the feedback and also Colin helping with the feedback templates and all of that. Now we went into a rabbit hole of the AI assist. So how, Vani, you want to mention something? Go ahead, please.
Oh no, wait until you finished. But Well, I was just going to say, it feels to me like we might need to extend the consent period a little bit. I mean, when we took on to use this tool, we all knew there might be a few glitches because it's new and we're trying, you're working really hard on it. So I don't think it'd be a disaster if we put it back a couple of days, do you?
No, not at all. I'm more into the when the thing is running, you just play the game till the end. That's the way to really test something, is to stress it out. So, if we get into that situation, I will pull the plug. Don't worry. But for the moment, I think we can keep going. And whenever we fix this, again, I need to log off, log back in to see the new role permits. I don't think we still need that, Bunny, but if that's the case, we'll reach out. For the moment, I will keep going.
No, but the thing is,
But going
Guillermo,
back to the discussion we have, because
Wednesday is not very long. It's less than a day for people to read all those proposals and all those budgets and decide if they consent. It's
oh,
not very long. And if we don't give a definite deadline, people won't know where they are. So I feel like we might need to extend it beyond the 25th. It doesn't really affect the tool, I know, but I think we might just need to say to people,
no,
okay, this is the new deadline and kind of push it back a few days.
we can push it back one day. Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah, we
what do
can
other
push it back
people
one day, but
think?
let's get back to that after this.
Okay, okay.
Again, they have 1 week to read the whole thing and nobody comments, so probably they already agree, as I meant
I don't
at
know
the
if that's
beginning.
the
But
case. I don't know if people have looked, honestly. Yeah.
yeah, right, you're right. Yeah, well, I don't know what people think.
I would keep the deadline, but somewhere need to collect who needs more time so that they have easy way to signal that they want to read more or get into more, or at least tell that they would consent more or look more proposals if they have more time. And with that information, we can decide. Like if nobody brings that up, hey, I need more time, then I think we're good to go.
Yeah, in itself, like I guess we did share the timeline. That is right now the timeline that's out there. And so far, I don't know about your DMs, maybe Guillermo, but I think so far nobody complained about not being able to consent.
Yeah, which tells us that nobody's looked because so many people are admins, and if admins can't consent, as we've now discovered, they wouldn't have been able to even if they
No,
tried. So
no,
it
it's not
tells me they ain't
admins.
looked.
No, fair. I agree there. Personally,
So just to follow up on that, I just fixed it on my end. So it's not the admin, it's the super admin. And when we push it out, we spread that superpower around. Yes, and again, we are hands-on the code, so it's not that we need to wait for somebody to wake up, in somewhere else. So let me try to finish, Vani. But again, if we need to push it 1 day or two, I don't think it's a problem.
I would say we care more about actually having a proper, good consent process rather than pushing a deadline we did put to ourselves. It did line up very nicely with the end of Q3. So in that sense, a bit of a bummer that it would
Yeah.
go 1 or 2 days into the next quarter. But is it gonna block anything? I don't think so. So in that sense, I would much rather for people
Keep
to
it going.
yeah
Keep
just
it
do a
going.
big push and make people aware because
I'm
looking at the
just
accounts,
here, so and we can do this on the front end, because when we assign a role, it will stay for 30 days, something we need to reassess and rebuild. But so now Leandro is hands-on on the back end and is taking Peter and everybody else, just him is going to be super admin. So Vani and everybody else will be able to see this happening while we keep going our conversation. But you need to log out and log in, okay? But log back in. Sorry. So yeah, but I totally agree, Vani. We need to, we should, okay? As if we stay into that, because we had an extended timeline, but the community agreed that to push it closer, so we have, as Peter was saying, consent on the budget, and we can start building our Q4 timelines and roadmap, all of that. Okay, so it's ready. So everybody should log out and log back in. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that part is clear to me. It just does make me wonder. So I can see right now there's 29 users on there, of which I do recognize names that I know are not core contributors. So that kind of leaves a gap as well, right? We haven't quite converted all the core contributors to signing up for a profile on the dashboard. Is that something like?
Yeah, at the end, we're gonna end up to have, as I mentioned yesterday or earlier in governance, there's some stuff that is still not automatized on this version. So as we do have on our consent process, sometimes members that are still not contributors participate on the consent process, and then we do the math. Here is going to be easier because it will just be, again, delete that user from the database in the consents run. So all the other part is going to be fixed. I saw some old friends from the Cardano family, like Yori and others, joining in. And that's really cool to see happening. But we have that covered in that regard, Peter. Yeah, but going back to kind of where we were before this, and again, everyone log out and log back in. You're gonna see, or you should see, let's be positive on this one. The possibility to interact, okay? And again, once done, you're gonna be always able to, again, to reassess even your consent. Okay, it shouldn't be a locked position of once you click consent, it's there. We have to, I don't remember the timeline, Vani, but we have a couple of days. So an argument of object can turn into a positive consent, thumbs up, let's say. And that's the other cool thing about this, that it came to this organically, you know. We thought that this is my take, the best thing about consent is dialoguing and getting to a best ending proposal, you know. That's the whole thing that I learned how to love and hate in this process, but it really challenged the community to get better at what you do and listen. You know, the most important aspect of dialogue is listening, because yada, it's just that. The other part had to be there to, oh, okay, yeah, this is good, you know, this is a good input, this is a good, so this is giving that, this to us the opportunity that is totally different from what we had before. So again, the challenge is to work async and to get in this tool. And also the other challenge was to get everything in one, because if we did have that, let's say, that we just put the link here, we will not be able to have this fluid consent process. You know, now everything is there, even Treasury. So it's all in one tool. And now that you, Colin mentioned this thing with ASI, I don't know how far I'm going to hit on the assist and ask, because it is linked with ASI. But going back to where, because I did enjoy the ethical discussion with, again, with Vani, that she had been hardcore part of the team helping on building this and working extra hours. So everybody, big shout to Vani, because she, without her support and help, this, and I've been playing the mind games with Vani, and this is on me, Vani. She have been hitting me hard on my knees, you know, and kicking and kicking and kicking, and that's the best way to get stuff. And you know, sometimes you do that not to point in the right, this and that. It's just to, you know, pressing on the right thing. And she have been doing that consciously. I know, because I know her already. And so the discussion is now the first system prompt that we put in. Okay, it was kind of numb. We wasn't getting any response. I did edit, Bunny was like, oh, this reminds me to the 1990s corporate, get to outcome, efficiency. And yeah, that's me. It's on me. I'm an old dude. And I did grow up watching Wall Street and Greco and all the stuff. But at the end, it is also the learnings that we took from this is that we really need to focus on deliverables because we have challenged workers that hasn't. The sentiment analysis we run, we end up taking a decision, because of this. So I did have to tell Bunny, you're right, it's Friday. Let's get something simple. I did input a lot of wording like collaboration, efficiency, but with our ADN, DNA, sorry. I've been breathing this community, so I kind of know, and we didn't want to run this experiment without that. And we are Singularity Net having an AI that is kind of doesn't know how to answer. I personally didn't like the idea of just giving an empty system prompt. So simplify it, try to keep it as more human and collaborative, targeted, and the thing got better. Okay, substantially, I have to say, because I've been working with her through the weekend, and it did really got me somewhere. It really helped me to ask or play these simple queries. How this work group and this work group can collaborate. What do you see? Blim, 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 blim. And it will give me, directions very precise. Where are we overlapping, let's say LATAM with the general? And if we reverse engineer that question, we can get the places where we can collaborate, So at the end is how we use the tool, humans use the tool. And also part of today's, engaging with all of you guys is that this is still open for our, in regards of what we want to take from this experiment. So last Thursday, Pete shared with us on governance the chat he has with it, let's say the AI assist, okay? And we included an ID per proposal, okay? To help the AI assist to get there, I was joking, it's like, Pete, that's the most inefficient way to use energy, you're just taking her for the park, and it's like, so we put that, so you use it. And he was like, yeah, but it got there without the ID. So the whole context, we built, and the architecture, it's solid. It's not that solid yet, but we got somewhere, And he put all this chat into a file that he shared with me. Copy, paste the whole thing. And I named and titled that as experiment number 1, getting there without the ID kind of thing, no? And I did the same with all my queries and interactions with the assist within our governance context, okay? So the other thing we want you guys to do is to help us into building this use case by whatever interactions you have with assist that you think is cool to share and make it part of our, let's say, documentation to share this use case as a success kind of dash failure, is that we get that information so we can fit with that not only our community, but to understand more how we can get there faster. You know what I mean? It's like that's the most important and valuable part of the experiment. You guys think that all these data endpoints, let's say comments, so you build tables, okay? All these tables are interconnected. And to have a better output or extract, let's say, information, if we use a knowledge graph and all of that, we can even understand how the human aspect of our community engaging in dialogue helps this assist to help us into decision making. That's the whole point of the tooling. Don't think it as something specific for our program. It's a wider concept. We can take this to our whole ASI ecosystem and even beyond. No, so yeah, that was a cool thing that I've been trying, also using, let's say, there's a comment on proposal or quarterly report X. How you think is good, or what is the response you got for that? And it will really get into, so endpoints are connected. It will say, okay, yeah, that's a comment from, let's say, X member. He's suggesting or highlighting this collaboration between education and onboarding. You want me to, yeah, give me the highlights of that potential collaboration. Okay, so maybe if I'm in process work group, Gil, I can understand if we are able even to join that collaboration. It's not about what she responds, it's about what we get from that response. He's going to trigger us in some direction. So at the end, it's not going to make the job for us, definitely not. But so I'm going to share here that template that Peter shared with us last week. I duplicated this document and put it in our drive, but that's a kind of a case. And he shared the whole thing. So if you guys engage, core contributor or not contributor, Cosmo, nice meeting you. Welcome to the party. It's like, if you get something cool of this, just, bring it on, because make it an open file so we can take it off, and we will create with that the arguments that we are in the right direction with this. I don't know if there's another experiment going on of AI assist and governance, AI and human collaboration in our ecosystem or others, but I think we are kind of leading on it, and we are a very diverse community, and I have been learning pretty much from everyone. So the results are going to be kind of pretty colorful from different aspects or points, so that's that. Then the other thing that we really want to share with you guys is the other aspects of this AI ethic approach. But also, again, Vani, thanks for kicking my ass on it. But because I'm more concerned about, so what makes AI ethics? Human ethics. Human, trash this development is our fault. It's not the fault of AI. So AI bias it comes from us, for training and all that. So, and the tool should help us to get our own community bias, or our purpose, if you want to change the word. So it was also a big revelation in that regard, because discussing with Peter, it's like, oh, I would like to know what community members are asking, because we know the people, and we kind of, it's a whole new level of information, and we know each other, so it kind of gets you curious. Myself is like, oh, okay, let me see what Pete is asking to this thing, and also, as when Vani shared this comment with me, saying, yeah, I'm concerned about this, and again, I said, Pete, I have this conversation with Vani, and she's concerned about this and that, but yeah, but I can share her message with me. That's ethical, that it's like, it's not that he asked me, but I'm like, it's the best way, I'm clumsy typing, so the way we should say, okay, this is what her arguments are, which are totally valid. But so that kind of the same aspect of our privacy, how we engage with each other. So while Peter is gonna say something, Peter, come in, I'm gonna share the graphics of the data sets that we are gonna be extracting, because we do want to know how many interactions it has with us, how many queries, the amount of queries, let's say, not what they ask specifically. Even we can get it, but we need to build that history tracking setup. We haven't. So that's the other aspect of this Q4, that building together the ethos. No, that's the right word, Vani, for what we're building. It's like, give the context between all of us.
Well, actually, a question on that, on how we can properly do that, because Well, I greatly respect all the efforts you and Leandro are putting in. It would feel like something we need to do as a group, or at least ideate on as a group. Like, what sources of information are the sources of truth that the model will work with? Like, for example,
Oh yeah.
if it's gonna check the comments of that people put on proposals, I think I might argue for not considering the proposals and just stay focused on the sorry, not include the comments, but do include the proposals. So if somebody just types something like, I think this is stupid and the work group shouldn't be doing this, if it then starts seeing that as part of its source of truth, then it gets messy very quickly. Um, so yeah, I'm wondering like what makes sense there.
No.
Is it like
Yeah, and Bunny mentioned something the same. Yeah.
yeah, fair. Also, just in chat, I
Yeah,
think.
sorry to interrupt, but Bunny also mentioned something too. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, no, not here, but priorly in our discussion, but definitely, yeah, how we can filter that because also comments can come with bias and all of that. But again, probably the best way to let it run in this first experiment is to see what she gets without filters. And then when we really deploy the thing with the upgraded tool, we understand also how the community interacts with it. But at the end, also definitely the whole community need to be involved in this in this part of the process. So it's going to definitely get more interesting in collaboration from all of us. Yeah, definitely. But that it's not going to come without a challenge.
No, never. That's also fine. Funny, you have found up?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that whole thing about whether to include comments or not. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying, Peter, that it should be something that's decided by the community. But I think my only worry would be that when people made the comments, they didn't know and they hadn't consented to whether it would be used. But in itself, I don't necessarily think it's bad. Um, like sometimes you see on websites where if there's a series of comments or reviews of something and they'll use an AI summary to sort of sum up what people have said, good and bad, and you can look at that and you can evaluate it yourself as to whether it sounds sensible. I mean, I think there would be nothing wrong with including it in the mix, and I think it would actually break down the problematic thing that I see with a danger that people see the AI assistant as, the arbitrator or telling the truth. If you can see it saying, oh, well, some people said this and some people said that, and I'm just collating it, that kind of helps you realize that it's not a source of truth because it's not. It really, we have to always be able to assess what it brings us. And humans have always got to be the ones who say, well, the AI assistant says this, it might be bollocks. And so I'm always thinking of ways that can remind people of that. Oh, apparently Zoom tells me
Yeah,
I've just
definitely.
switched
I'm
to a
going to go
different
first.
language. What's that about?
No, I'm going to say something, Bunny. You just refer as a she. That's on me, okay? And that's a joke. But you did. Recording is there, okay? But definitely, and the other thing that you did
Don't think I
said,
did, mate.
that governance
Seriously.
Thursday. You did. But listen, last time on Thursday, the other thing that you said that really tricked me is that comment section bring also the context of humans or how we interact. So not having that, it will be playing into it, her, she understanding of the community. So you thought that also, and I agree, it is really cool that we get that. But again, legal disclaimer, I don't know. There's a bunch of ways, but yes, have everybody on the same page that this is happening. I did mention on the channel when I encourage people on Saturday, people get involved, get this, that's the way we're gonna be. So I think we did, but definitely something we probably need to discuss.
Yeah, fair.
Thibaut?
I wonder how people are using the agents, because for myself, I don't think it's actually useful for me. For me, it's more like testing if it's even correct information. I can prompt it. Um, but maybe I always just wonder if new people who haven't created or don't even know anything about workgroup, do they find the assistant more helpful? Because when I used AI agents to kind of make decisions, it's more like, for example, in the Cardano's case, there like was this intercept process of hundreds of proposals. Now it gets over my capacity to actually read through all of that, and I am not aware of. But in here, we are more like more internal. I'm already working with everybody and kind of see daily activities, so I'm not necessarily like trying to. I don't even know what I'm looking into when I go into proposal. I'm just gonna read it, kind of consume it in, and then I just like make my best guess on based on this proposal. Is the strategy? Is it kind of sound based on what they did last quarter? Um, so is there like somebody else already tried to kind of use it, this agent for decision making in ambassador program, or like planning like a framework? Because I think this is how maybe it's best to approach that. You come up with these measurements, how I want to kind of make a decision, and then you hand it off to the agent to make these decisions. Just recently in Cardano roundtable from Cardano Foundation, there was like discussion of like this Project Catalyst proposals, and one person brought up like a framework where like very similar, like he did all the work himself. He helped like just the filtering process, and now okay, we just I don't know, do we want to filter? But then he manually went through the process, assigned values, and measured all the proposals, and then let the AI do it. And only if it was like conflicting answers with AI, then he went deep into so using like an after effect. So yeah, it's for me right now. It's pretty hard to kind of see the way I should go using about it, because like time is also very valuable, and for now I feel like I'm more impactful just reading through and giving my consent or objection rather than figuring out how to use AI to assist me with that.
Yeah, fair remarks, I guess. Um, yeah, it brings a very solid question on the demand side of things. What are we looking for? I'm not quite sure if we have an answer to that right now, at least.
Yeah, definitely not. But it's
And
all
this is
part
maybe
of
something that could be added, like you shared about what channels or source of truth you want to add into the agent. And maybe to make the agent unique to every person, it has to use the source of the user who is using it. So whatever they put on the profile, whatever roles is getting. And right now we don't really do like credentialing or like other than the BBL maybe. That yeah, we're not able to kind of expect that many skills, even though we do have like the skill mapping and what people want to learn, and maybe that should also indicate what what they may be interested in. So yeah, basically thinking like the agent who is trying to give the framework to a person so they don't have to come up with it and paste it on their own profile. That also can get like very controlled, and then who controls it?
yeah, probably to follow on that. Um, Again, same meeting last Thursday. I think we're gonna end up multi-agent, so we can have different, let's say, colors, uh, playing and helping. Because if we get two admin, you're missing the other part of. I think we can even get uh, it's gonna sound stupid, but kind of a counselor or assessment or assessment in different aspects, from admin, accountability, uh, sustainability. There's so much you can integrate today, um, using more than one agent. Okay. But at the end is what you say, Tivo, how we use it. You use it in a different way that I will. And I don't know if it's helping us on decision-making process only, but also, again, there was this other question that Peter said, do you use it to create a proposal? No, but because it didn't have a context of our quarterly reports, but when it has it, probably can help us. But that's what we are looking for. I don't know. I think a lot is going to come from the knowledge base you put together from the archivals, because you will get the context, all the summaries, ASI, create document papers, white papers. I don't know. We can get so much into it. But just to share with you guys also this other thing. I'm going to share my screen just to understand also in our context how this played off. So we launched it. I don't even remember when this September the 13th. I don't have a calendar with me, but I think when we called for submission, it was 13, 14. I don't remember. I don't have a calendar. But the day I think we closed proposal, it was the 17th or 16. And you can see the amount of queries that came in. And again, this is another aspect of what we can get out of it. So this is on the endpoint of Vercel. So we are gonna have to open the door 30 days back on time. It's a $10 fee. And now, again, it's just about the amount of queries that came from total members, okay? Or for each specific member. Probably the bigger amount is going to come from the dev team because we're kicking. But also it's going to be helpful to understand if it's used or not, probably encourage or not. I don't know. It should come organically, not forced. But again, also it's the first iteration, and I believe also that the sentiment analysis kind of cleaned the path to this consent process. I don't know, probably I'm wrong, and it gets we get into business from now on. But yeah, who knows? Let's see what happens. But this is valuable data also. How in a small community framework, AI assist in governance, you drop it in, boom, free to go, and this kind of happened. And a lot of it is going to be in this information we can get from the backend.
It's super important to keep an eye on. I think once the whole round is concluded, it would be great to have a bit of an overview of well, how many people used it, how intensely it was used. It does make me wonder about anonymity and because the way people interact with it tells a lot about what people are looking for, supposedly. So that could tell something about the demand side of things. But then again, we didn't quite it's kind of weird to just publicly discuss a random user's interactions unless they personally step up. Like, I don't know, I copy pasted something in a document and I shared the document. Yeah, sure, then it's fair game and you can just analyze whatever. But I do want to take a little bit of time before the slot wraps up. Yeah, as Vanessa comments, we can't go looking unless people actually offer. That does make sense. Like, yeah, otherwise you just feels like invading privacy quite a bit. Yeah, so I did ask in chat if there were other topics, and Tafo offered to give a little update on the Treasury Guild bonus rewards distribution. Because, well, actually, the floor is yours. You can introduce it perfectly fine yourself. I thought it was a great experiment. I was happy to see it work.
Share screen and share also the document in chat who are new or who have missed out. Technically, the the information collection is now kind of closed. I yet still to have to kind of do the final calculation, but I made like an algorithmic sheet that kind of gives the idea that in the top here we will have the final number here, and then whatever I type in here, and that is kind of reusable. And we can see how this like numbers change. And in the Discord, mainly we have had this discussion. It was in the thread, treasury related rewards, where I also asked like consent from all the Treasury Guild members. So there are more people in the Treasury Guild. So it would be nice to kind of get your reaction to see that, yep, you were part of it. You saw that this process was fair. And if not, then you can still change it, like in a sense that until I finally kind of distribute it. But for now, it looks like everybody is happy. And the idea there was that usually the way we are like rewarding people is just kind of, hey, you do the task and then we reward it. But over time we had these experiences and other like networks are like playing around with like fractal games and happy money game. And I just wanted to bring that experience I had in other places in here and see what happens if we give the person a power to tell a story how they would want to distribute funds. And it was actually quite interesting to see in the meeting itself how people went like, oh, let's go beyond people and recognize groups of people. So it's gonna be a bit, so why it's a bit too late is that it's not that easy to like figure out who members facility because I need to open the database and kind of start filtering data and picking up names and doing stuff. And there are many other places also where I kind of need to group the people who are actually behind these groups of ideas that should be rewarded. But overall, I kind of liked it that finally we did get so many different like perspectives on the story-wise. And yeah, I hope that was a bit like interesting and or to see how does it have an effect if everybody has their own like opinion. And I'm wondering also like using this similar strategy to in general for ambassador program, maybe once per quarter and once per year, we had, especially when we do have a bit of like extra rewards or like this time we had like 1,000 AGX and we just moved it to reserves. Think about these qualitative stories that we can share about each other. I think this person was especially like doing something in this quarter, or this group of people took something on that you weren't expecting, and kind of highlighting this qualitative aspect would be, I think, is valuable to have. And also like rewarding it or like giving the financial power behind it is maybe a bit unique that is not done elsewhere. And yeah, another quick update, I guess, is also that Treasury and process channels, you will find these like new schedules. I already updated Google Calendar and my report calendar. So yeah, looks like there isn't too much of time change. But yeah, at least, and that was like a more successful or like quite faster to coordinate like new times for knowledge base and Treasury. So yeah, we'll see. Well, maybe next week if I'm here, I can give you a more better rundown. But like knowledge base is interesting because it's not asking for any funding, but it's scaling up in some sense. It feels like there are gonna be more sessions than expected, but we are now a bit steering away from original like intent to have meeting summaries of all the meetings. So we're like cutting off doing meeting summaries in two of the sessions, and it's more like a stand-up preparing for an additional meeting because yeah, we're experimenting with an idea that maybe the continuity of having a space for people to come together in a bi-weekly manner is better than having like one or two sessions per quarter, even if like we don't record like our text or discussions. Yeah. Yep. Small updates.
Yeah, good comment there, Funny. Just wanted to call out on the previous point. I think it's really awesome that the work group is getting together, decides to distribute funds not only to another work group, but also pushing back to ambassador program reserves. That's, I don't know, it's just great. Just conceptually, that's not about the exact amounts, but just yeah, I think that's awesome. So kudos for well, actually for pushing a bit more to get people to share their stories, because that I think made all the difference. Like this first iteration, it was not getting too much response, I believe, and then well, it did actually to where it got now. So yeah, it was really cool. Looking at the clock, we are over the time of the slot, and I don't want to keep you too long, but maybe the last final check if I'm skipping on something or anything short, which could be added to today's call before wrapping up. All right. Awesome. Then
Other than really quickly, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Really quickly, I just wanted to reiterate about Friday's meeting and how important it is that we figure out what's going on with the BGI conference and the ambassadors, whether attending or not. It is going to really affect what's happening. So we do need to be thinking about this seriously and make sure that we have our decision ready on Friday.
I can only agree with that 100%. Yes. All right. Then that's it for today. Thanks all for being here, sharing your time and insights. Let's see. Let me give a quick recap if I can find it. Of course, I can't. What's happening tomorrow? Tomorrow we have R&D Guild and Latam at 18 and 19 UTC. Relatively not so busy day for a change. So yeah, hope to see you either on one of those calls or if not, we'll talk on Discord. Cool. Thanks again. Have a nice remainder of your Tuesday. See you on the flip side.